It's Paul Marsh, and I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by the wonderful Alex Francis. Alex, how are you, sir?
How's it going, man? Very well, very well. How are you? You're good?
I'm good now. It's always nice to talk to you. It's always good to have a catch-up. A year has gone so quickly, has it not?
Really has. It's really flown. I always think of that as a sign of, the hustle and how busy you need to keep in this game, Do
you know what? And as an independent artist, it's even harder to keep your nose to the grindstone, right?
It's true. I mean, it's I'm I guess in a fortunate way, I'm one of those people that I cannot fathom to sort of sit on my hands, just generally, so I am forever, making sure that I'm, everything's at the top of the inbox, and the folks that are working, the team around me are, probably, absolutely sick to their stomach of me chasing this and chasing that, but it's sort of in my nature to I'm a firm believer that you got to go out and get it in this game. You have to go out and get it.
Obviously, you're no stranger to Portsmouth. You've been down once or twice before. I was just trying to think, have you been down in the summer? Have you come down to any of the festivals or done any shows in the summer?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it actually all started a few years ago. The first time I came through to Portsmouth was to play at Victorious. Was all the way back in 2019. Actually, my guitar player Guy and we came through for a set way back then. But then it wasn't really actually until last year that the hooks that sort of tethered me to the South Coast started to kind of, dig in a bit better and give us a bit more of a plan. And I ended up back at Victorious again this last summer. And then it was, there've been a couple of other, obviously Icebreaker at the beginning of last year as well, but it was just beginning to get a foothold of what I think is an amazing music scene, Well, it's so vibrant.
We agree. We think we've got a fantastic scene here in Portsmouth, but it's always nice to hear people from outside of Portsmouth say that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's not as easy as maybe it was once upon a time to kind of get to a new destination and sort of get a real sense of a vibrant kind of artistic culture. And I mean, my previous experience of Icebreaker as well was that, that really exists in the South Sea and Portsmouth area. And more power to you guys for having that going on.
What is it about Icebreaker that makes it so special? I think you're playing a little bit later, right? I think you're on about 8ish. Am I right in saying something like that?
That's right. I'm at the Lord John Russell, and it's going to be great. I mean, just being able to kind of sort of seep into a kind of culture, like I was just saying, of music tastemakers and music discoveries that people are making that's already there. And I mean, outside of a couple of other fixtures up and down the country that don't tend to happen until a bit later in the year, I'm always so gung-ho to try and be part of these kind of things because, all of what I'm doing right now is about trying to get in front of new audiences. And it's just great that the guys at Icebreaker are doing that. They're giving a platform and they've managed to grow it big enough that, they can pull in artists and bands from, outside of the immediate sort of geography. So, no, even if there were more people at it, I think it's got a wonderful kind of identity about it. I love the kind of almost village community of the South Sea area. It's just so vibrant. I love it. It reminds me of Greenwich Village in the States or something, this wonderful kind of ecosystem of great musicians and great promoters. Great, there's amazing press. You guys are doing great work around there. So it's just awesome. Do you get to go out and watch a lot of the other bands? Do you always make sure that you're down early enough to come and do that? Because I try. Well, I got a couple of roster mates from my my live agency this year. I did last year as well. We were in the I think it wasn't the Wedgwood rooms. I'm trying to think where we were last year. Yes, the Vaults. Thank you. I managed to catch a couple of buddies. Alexander McKay, he was great last year. Yeah, I mean, it's it's classic. You just try to you get in, and with those kind of ones, yeah, you want to get amongst it and immerse in it rather than just sort of hot foot straight out of there, because it really is sort of got a great feeling of community about it.
Right, we'll be back with more from Alex after his song Before You Break Her Heart.
Why you gotta keep doing what you're doing? Can't you see you're only running from yourself? Stop, you got
such a great tune. Alex Francis and Before You Break Her Heart. It's Paul Marsh here on Express. If you've only just joined us, I've been talking to Alex Francis as he's coming down to the Icebreaker Festival this Saturday, and we'll also talk about his latest single. There are a lot of Portsmouth-based artists playing at the festival, and a lot of them know each other.
Rightly so.
But then, like you just mentioned, you know, you're coming down from London. There's a few people you know on bandmates. Obviously, there's now artists and other people that you know from the Portsmouth area as well. So even for the artists that are playing, it does feel like that community, like that, oh, I haven't seen you for a year, but it's great to see you. Let's have a pint.
Totally. And the cross-pollination of, you know, I mean, I've got a buddy in Marley Blandford who's, you know, fabulous, you know, and I discovered Marley. We were on a James Walsh show a couple of years ago, and you know, I hadn't discovered him before, and I just thought he was knockout. I thought he was great, and you know, I think he's performing at Icebreaker this year as well. But hopefully we won't get the crossover, and I'll get to see him. But yeah, he was just one, you know, discovery that I've made where. Yeah, it's brilliant. There should be more opportunities for musicians to get in the live space, not just social media DMs, this, that, and the other, where they can actually, you know, experience the allure of what their set is, you know, just on other people, if that happens. And that totally happened for me and Marley. Like, you know, I just loved him. So I wouldn't have that discovery if I didn't, you know, get the opportunity to be in Portsmouth doing stuff.
Well, it's really funny because when people like myself interview people like you, and we always ask that generic question of, you know, who's your influences? Who are you listening to? And obviously, you know, Beatles and Zeppelin and blah, 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 blah. Of course. But you can be just as influenced as your peers, the people that are around you, you know, the people that you see at these festivals.
Big time. I mean, you know, we can all romanticize the legends, but you know, in the game of, you know, it gets harder and harder in this modern age of music to be, you know, consistent and to story tell and to build your own story. And it's, for me, I can only speak for myself, but it's inspiring when I get, you know, on a level with other artists that I'm, you know, able to listen to the music, experience what they're doing on stage, and that fires me up, it charges me up. And you know, I'm lucky I've got, you know, close mates, close compadres in this game who, you know, on paper you could look at it like we're almost like competitors, and maybe that competition is kind of healthy because we need to feel charged up to do it, and you need a good sort of strong crop of great music in your kind of mind's eye of what you're doing to keep it all charged, you know.
Let's talk about your music, because that's the reason why we're here, of course. Your new single, Silver Linings, is absolutely fantastic. It is in regular rotation on my show. I absolutely love it.
No, thank you very much. It's a great kind of, it was a lovely experience putting it together. I wrote it with two buddies, Mark Taylor and Patrick Maskell, and they're amazing writers in their own right. And it's a song of hope. It's a song of like, well, you know, manifestation into, you know, being able to try to get through. There's always going to be rough. There's always going to be rough terrain. There's always going to be challenges. But, you know, it's sort of in the eye of the beholder about what you do about if something is challenging. And I'm always thinking about things like that. And we haven't written a ton of songs that are, you know, crazily up or positive. And there's this sort of anecdote that loads of musicians tell about how it's hard to write positive songs. Yeah. It's easier to write songs that are maybe a little bit more downbeat. And that one, like, it was actually the first thing we ever wrote together. And we just happened upon, you know, having an hour or two to just knock around a few chords and a few ideas, and it sort of just grew its own legs. And yeah, I'm thrilled to have it out. You know, it speaks pretty personally and strongly for where I'm at with what I'm doing right now and the kind of journeying that I'm doing right now to get things to the next level, whatever that level is.
Well, look, not to wish away that single, because like I say, I love it. Have you got any other plans for 2026? Are you back in the studio? Are you going to release more music?
Well, funnily enough, the sessions for Silver Lining happened toward the back end of last year, and we tracked a load of other things as well, which I'm just sort of crossing the T's and dotting the I's on them now as well. So this is going to be a fruitful year. I'm really excited. There's going to be plenty more music moving through, at least to take us up to the summer, and if not beyond it.
Well, it is just the perfect song to hear at a festival. It sounds great on the radio, of course it does.
No, I'm glad I got your seal there.
but I'm sure it will sound even better live. I can't wait to hear it played live at Icebreaker.
Absolutely.
Come along. You are going to be at LJR's. I'm going to be there. I can't wait to see you. But if for those that are a little bit impatient, why don't we play that single right now? And who better to introduce it than the man himself?
All right. Okay. This is my new single, Silver Lining. Come catch me at Icebreaker this weekend and enjoy.
There's a glimmer of light through a crack in the window.